Hello, Pharma Peeps. So, in this lecture, we will talk about lipids. So, for the scope of our discussion, first, we will talk about the definition of lipids. So, ito yung part in which pag-uusapan natin yung mga general characteristics and descriptions ng mga lipids. Next naman would be classification. So, guys, based on references, okay, there are several ways para maklasify ang mga lipids. But here, for our discussion, we will be more of structural based. More on structure tayo. Since this is biochemistry, so we will classify lipids generally based on the presence or absence of fatty acids. So may mga lipids na nagpo-possess ng fatty acids at meron namang mga lipids na walang fatty acids. So kung ano yung tawag sa dalawang general types na yun at ano yung mga examples per type or per class of lipids, malalaman natin later. Next would be what are the uses of lipids in general. So napakarami at lahat ng ito ay napaka-significant when it comes to pharmacy and human health. Next would be fatty acids. So bago tayo mag-proceed or bago natin i-discuss further yung mga iba't ibang types ng lipids, it is very important na magkaroon muna tayo ng idea sa fatty acids. Since marami sa mga significant or commonly occurring na lipids is fatty acid containing. Next, after fatty acids, proceed na tayo sa saponifiable and non-saponifiable lipids. So ito yung tinutukoy nating dalawang general types ng lipids. At sa bawat type na to, meron pa siyang specific examples. So dito guys, mag-focus tayo doon sa mga prominent examples under these two general types of lipids. And lastly, for our discussion would be the chemical tests for lipids, which is also a part na rin of your laboratory. So without further ado, let us now start the first part, which is all about definition. So class, isa sa mga pinaka-prominent or pinaka-well-known characteristics or descriptions ng isang lipid is that these are considered as non-polar biomolecules. Lipids class are considered as non-polar biomolecules. So if babalikan natin yung ating mga previous chemistry classes, non-polar simply means these are substances, compounds, or molecules that have no charge. Non-polar. Non means no, and polar has something to do with polarity. And sa chemistry, polarity has something to do with charges. So non-polar, no polarity, no charges. These lipids have no charges. So bakit kino-consider ang mga lipids as non-polar? Malalaman natin as we go along. Next. Lipids are not defined by particular functional group. So unlike sa ibang mga biomolecules, 'di ba meron tayong apat. We have carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Okay? So kung babalikan natin si carbohydrates guys, actually tatlo eh. Sina proteins, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates. Yung kanila kasi yung mga structure is kahit papaano, may mga significant similarities. For example, if we will go back to our discussion on carbohydrates. Ang carbohydrates guys, either aldehydes yan or ketones, tapos maraming hydroxyl groups. Pansin nyo, sina glucose tsaka galactose, okay, halos pareho sila eh. Pareho silang may aldehyde, tapos halos pareho din sila ng dami ng hydroxyl groups, halos pareho din ng position. So pansin nyo, may structural similarity ang mga carbohydrates. Unlike ang mga lipids, wala. Kumbaga guys, ang structure ng mga lipids, very diverse. Okay? Halos magkakaiba talaga. If meron mang similarity, if ever, halos hindi significant. Okay? Halos hindi halata. Kasi mostly, kung titingnan mo ang structure ng iba't ibang types ng lipids, sa bawat type at bawat example ng lipids, talagang magkaiba. It is significantly different. So since individual lipid molecules or individual lipid examples are not defined by particular functional groups, unlike carbohydrates, fixed lang yan sa either aldehydes or ketones, then structure of lipids are considered as varied or iba-iba. Magkakaiba talaga. Kung magkakaroon man ng similarity, medyo insignificant na siya or insignificant. Okay? So ngayon, since varied or talagang magkakaiba ang structure ng iba't ibang types and examples of lipids, ito yung nagsisilbing rason kung bakit ang mga lipids, okay, they have no polymer forms. Walang polymer forms ang mga lipids. Pagka sinabi mong polymers, ito ay mga smaller units na naglilink or nagko-combine or nagko-connect para makabuo ng mas malaki at mas complex na molecule or structure. Pansin nyo no, sa carbohydrates, di ba? Monosaccharide units can be linked or bound by glycosidic bonds. Because of the reason na kahit papaano, may mga structural similarities sila. Yan like ang mga lipids, okay, dahil varied yung kanilang structure, halos walang similarity. Okay? Hindi nila kaya mag-form ng link or bond sa iba't ibang types ng lipids. Thus, hindi nila kayang bumuo, hindi nila kayang magsama-sama para makabuo ng larger molecule. Yan tawag natin doon sa process na yon, ang tawag natin sa mismong process kung saan sila ay nagko-combine para makabuo ng mas malaking molecule, tawag doon polymerization or polymer. So since hindi yun kayang gawin ng mga lipids kasi magkakaiba nga yung kanilang structure, hindi nila kaya makabuo ng polymer forms. Unlike carbohydrates. Okay? And another characteristics of lipids, isa din to sa mga pinaka-prominent. Pagka sinabi mong lipids, class, okay, sila ay soluble sa mga non-polar solvents. They're soluble in non-polar solvents, but take note, lipids are insoluble. Insoluble naman sila sa mga polar solvents. Most especially water. Again, lipids, they are soluble, they dissolve well, they mix well, they go well, they interact well with non-polar solvents, pero opposite naman sa mga polar solvents, especially water. So, this is already a common knowledge class, di ba, na ang tubig at langis talaga ay hindi maghahalo at never maghahalo. Kasi kung babalikan natin ang ating mga previous chemistry classes, as we all know, and we should know this by now, that water, the water class or H2O, this is a polar solvent. Okay. Polar siya. Ibig sabihin, may formation ng charges or may occurrence ng charges sa kanyang composition. Okay? And as you all know, like dissolves likes. Diba? Pagdating sa solubility. Diba ang rule is like dissolves likes. Or like dissolves like. Diba yun ang rule natin sa solubility? So si lipid na non-polar solute or non-polar biomolecule, okay, pwede siya ma-dissolve or madi-dissolve talaga siya kapag yung solvent mo is kapareho niya, non-polar. Whereas, kapag yung solvent or partner is opposite, in this case, polar, Hindi talaga siya magdi-dissolve. Hindi talaga siya mag-i-interact. Okay? Kasi lipids, non-polar, water, polar, they just do not dissolve. They just do not mix well or go well. Okay? Now, if you're ever wondering bakit non-polar ang lipids at polar naman ang water, ano yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa, you may refer to your previous classes on chemistry kasi kapag sinabing polarity, it has something to do with electronegativity. May kinalaman siya sa electronegativity, sa distribution ng electrons, pati na rin sa type of bond na nag-exist. Okay? Pagka sinabi mo kasing non-polar, yung electronegativity ng mga components, okay, yung electronegativity nila is magkapareho o hindi naman kaya magkalapit. Kaya yung distribution ng electrons, kumbaga equal sa non-polar. Unlike kapag sinabi mo namang polar, okay, yung electronegativity sa pagitan ng mga components ng isang compound magkakalayo. So nangyayari is nagiging unequal or hindi patas yung distribution ng electron. So yung isa, sobrang daming electron, yung isa napagdadamutan. So nagkakaroon ng charge. Okay? So we will not go further into that. Basta may kinalaman siya sa electronegativity, electron distribution, and the type of bond. Okay? So halos magkaiba rin yung predominant bond sa non-polar at polar. So these are just some of the reasons kung bakit ang mga polar at non-polar ay hindi talaga mag-i-interact ng maayos or pwedeng hindi rin sila mag-interact at all. Okay? Ngayon, ang isang mahalagang question regarding lipids is this. Bakit nga ba considered as non-polar ang mga lipids? Okay? So class, ang mga lipids kasi, okay, they are primarily composed of hydrocarbon bonds. Which means lipids, guys, are primarily comprised of carbon to carbon as well as carbon to hydrogen bonds. Carbon to carbon and carbon to hydrogen bonds. So pansin nyo, no, carbon to carbon. So parehong atom, so pareho yung electronegativity, so equal yung distribution ng electron. Tapos, carbon and hydrogen, hindi pareho yung kanilang electronegativity but somehow magkalapit. That's why yung distribution ng electrons is somehow, okay, equal din. Hindi ganun ka-equal tulad ng carbon and carbon pero significantly equal pa din somehow. Okay? So guys, itong hydrocarbon, carbon to hydrogen bonds na present sa lipids, ito yung reason kung bakit sila non-polar, and most of all, this is the main reason kung bakit hindi sila soluble sa polar solvents tulad ng water. Ito yung reason, class. Okay? Saan galing yung non-polar nature ng lipids? So dito, sa mga hydrocarbon bonds. Okay? Ito yung reason kung bakit sila non-polar at ito yung reason kung bakit hindi sila nag-i-interact ng maayos or hindi sila nag-i-interact at all sa mga polar solvents, especially water. Okay? Now, so ngayong class, at this point, we already know that lipids hate water and vice versa. Which means, guys, it is safe to say that if a substance, compound, or if a molecule is considered as lipophilic, if a substance, compound, or molecule is lipophilic, meaning ng lipophilic, lipid-loving, lipo, lipid, philic, philia, so love. Kapag ang isang substance, compound, or molecule is lipid-loving or lipophilic, then it is safe to say that it really hates or fears water. A lipophilic molecule can also be considered as hydrophobic. Hydro means water and phobic is phobia or fear. Water-fearing or water-hating. Okay? And vice versa naman. If a certain molecule is lipophobic or takot sa lipids or ayaw sa lipids, then we can also say na itong substance or molecule na to, itong lipophobic molecule na to is hydrophilic naman. Vice versa. Okay? Pag sinabing lipophobic, takot sa lipid, then most probably ang kanyang affinity belongs to polar solvents or water. Hydrophilic. Okay? Now, you may ask, are there any substances, are there any compounds na merong affinity sa parehong lipids and water? Yes po, meron. At ang tawag natin doon, okay, ang tawag natin doon, class, sa mga substances na may affinity sa parehong lipids at water would be, okay, ito sina amphiphilic. Okay, amphiphilic molecules or amphiphilic compounds. Okay? So example ng substances or compounds na nagpo-possess ng affinity sa parehong lipids at water is yung mga tinatawag nating surfactants. Pero guys, take note, okay, na yung mga surfactants that will be discussed further on your other subjects such as dosage forms or physical pharmacy or manufacturing pharmacy. Okay, but nevertheless, ngayon alam na natin na may mga substances or compounds na may affinity sa parehong lipid and water. Okay? Pero mag-focus na lang muna tayo guys doon sa claim natin na ang isang typical na substance or compound kapag ang affinity niya is nasa lipid or kapag siya ay lipophilic, then ayaw niya ng water and vice versa. Okay? Next, after ng mga general descriptions and characteristics regarding lipids, let us now proceed with the classification of lipids. So class, as we have said a while ago based on some references, may mga several ways para mag-classify ng lipids. We may classify lipids based on hydrolysis. Yung lipid ba is pwedeng ma-hydrolyze or hindi? Pwede ba siyang ma-breakdown or hindi? Some references naman, they classify lipids generally based on function. Kina-classify nila yung mga lipids as storage lipids, structural lipids, and lipids for other uses, tulad ng cofactor, cell signaling, or whatsoever. Pero class, since tayo ay nasa biochemistry, we take things as much as possible on a molecular level. So I think the better way to classify lipids would be based on their structure. So class, lipids, let's just have it as capital L. So shortcut na lang natin. So class, based on structure, lipids are generally classified based on the presence or absence of fatty acid. Okay, fatty acid. Okay, so yan class. Lipids structurally can be classified generally based on the presence or absence of fatty acid. So, is the lipid fatty acid containing? So, meron tayong dalawang possible answers. It can either be a yes or a no. So, class, if the answer to the question is yes, this lipid contains fatty acid, then that lipid would be termed as or would be classified as what we call saponifiable lipids. Saponifiable lipids. Whereas, if the answer to the question is no, this lipid doesn't contain any fatty acids, then this lipid would be classified or would be termed generally as a non-saponifiable lipid. Non-saponifiable lipid. Okay? Now, at this point, you may think, what are fatty acids? Ano ito? And what do we mean by saponifiable? Bakit saponifiable lipids ang tawag natin sa mga lipids na nagpo-possess ng fatty acid? Okay? So we will discuss that later on. So for now, let us focus first on the classification of lipids. So let us move on. So let us go first with saponifiable lipids. So class, ang mga saponifiable lipids naman, kina-classify sila further. No, they are further classified based naman on the presence or absence of a glycerol molecule or glycerol group. Again, saponifiable lipids naman class, they are further classified whether may present ba na glycerol group or wala. So class, there are also two possible answers for this. It can either be a yes, may glycerol, or no, wala. So class, if the answer to the question is yes, okay, then examples of saponifiable glycerol containing lipids would include the triglycerides, or tags for short, as well as what we call the glycerophospholipids. Glycerophospholipids. And in fact, class, madali nating ma-distinguish yung mga examples kasi meron na silang hint ng glycerol sa pangalan. Triglycerides, glycerophospholipids. So it is already obvious that these lipids contain a lipid group or a glycerol group rather. Okay? Next, if the answer to the question naman is no, okay, then examples of saponifiable non-glycerol containing lipids would include the sphingolipids, okay, as well as waxes. Okay, sphingolipids then, waxes. Okay? And now, examples of lipids that do not possess a fatty acid, examples of non-saponifiable lipids, would include the fat-soluble vitamins. This would include the fat-soluble vitamins. Examples of fat-soluble vitamins would be ADEC, pwede ring DECA. Okay? And also, the what we call terpenoids. Okay, so this is a certain type of biological compounds or a group of biological compounds. Terpenoids. So they are derived from terpenes. Okay? So later on, as we go along, somehow, we will discuss all about terpenoids. But for now, what I want you to know is that itong mga terpenoids nito class, sila ay nagsaserve na precursors para sa mga tinatawag nating sterols. Sterols. Terpenoids serve as precursor for the biosynthesis of sterols. So sa ating mga humans, ang pinaka-prominent na sterol is cholesterol. Napaka-importante ng cholesterol sa atin kasi ito ay nagsisilbi din namang precursor for the biosynthesis of many important compounds and substances. Okay? Kasama na dito si mismong vitamin D. Okay, yung mga steroids, hormones, synabile acids. And mahalaga din to para sa synthesis or maintenance ng ating cell membrane. Okay? So ito class, yung classification natin ng iba't ibang types ng lipids. So we will go by each type or each example one by one. But that would be on our next discussions pa naman. So next, proceed na tayo sa question natin kanina. What are fatty acids? And what are saponifiable and non-saponifiable lipids? At bakit saponifiable lipids ang tawag natin sa mga lipids na nagpo-possess ng fatty acid group? So class, when we say fatty acid, okay, it is simply a carboxylic acid talaga. So it has a general formula of RC-double-bond-O-OH, or simply, kapag condensed form, RC-OOH. That's it. Fatty acids are simply carboxylic acids. But take note, technically, hindi sila pareho. Okay? Nanggaling ang mga fatty acids sa mga carboxylic acids, but technically, hindi talaga sila pareho. Bakit? Kasi class, kapag sinabi mong carboxylic acid, yung R group dyan, di ba? If we will go back to our organic chemistry, R means alkyl, right? Alkyl group. Okay? Alkyl group. And when we say alkyl group, it is primarily comprised of hydrocarbons. Alkyl group. So ngayong class, ang isang typical ng carboxylic acid, yung R group niyan or alkyl group niyan, kahit ilang carbons pwede. Kahit 1 carbon lang, 2 carbon, 3, 4, 5, and so much more yung alkyl group, okay lang. Carboxylic acid pa rin siya. Pero class, ang pinaka-difference ng fatty acids sa carboxylic acids is that when we say fatty acids class, yung kanilang R group, yung kanilang alkyl group, okay, is may minimum number ng carbons. Okay? As compared kay carboxylic acid na any number of carbons sa kanilang alkyl group or R will do. Carboxylic acid pa rin siya. Pagka sinabi namang fatty acid, meron siyang requirement na minimum amount of carbon chains or hydrocarbon chains. So class, in order for a carboxylic acid to be considered as a fatty acid, dapat yung R mo or yung alkyl group mo is may minimum at least of 6 carbons. Okay? Upang ang isang carboxylic acid ay makonsider as a fatty acid, dapat yung R group mo or alkyl group mo is may minimum at least of 6 carbons or more. Sa ibang references, 4. Okay, pero sa ibang references naman, 6 onwards. So, para mas safe, 6 yung gamitin natin. Okay. So class, bakit yung mga ibang references, hindi nila kinoconsider yung 5 carbon group na carboxylic acids as fatty acids? Bakit 6 carbon onwards? Okay. Ang sagot kasi class is that yung mga carboxylic acids na yung R group is 5 carbons or less. Okay? Hindi pa kasi sila ganoon ka non-polar at hindi pa sila ganoon ka lipophilic. Okay, yun yung main reason. Okay? Nagkakaroon lang or nagsisimula lang yung significant na non-polar nature at significant na lipophilicity kapag yung R group or yung alkyl group ng ating carboxylic acid is 6 carbons onwards. Doon pa lang siya nagiging significant. Si 5 pababa, hindi pa siya gaanong ka-lipophilic, hindi pa siya gaanong ka-nonpolar. Okay? Ito yung kaibahan ng fatty acids sa carboxylic acids. Okay? Lahat ng fatty acids ay carboxylic acids, pero hindi lahat ng carboxylic acids ay fatty acids. Kasi may minimum requirement ng R group upang ang isang carboxylic acid ay ma-consider as fatty acid. At yun nga ay minimum of 6 carbons. Okay? So now, we have two general types of fatty acids. So we have saturated. So we have saturated as well as unsaturated fatty acid. Definition and differences between saturated and unsaturated fatty acid will be discussed as we go along. Okay? So ngayon, okay na tayo. Alam na natin kung ano ang fatty acid. So again, ito ay mga carboxylic acid kung saan yung kanilang R group is binubuo ng 6 carbon or more. So next, ano namang meaning ng saponifiable? At bakit saponifiable yung tawag natin sa mga lipids na nagpo-possess ng fatty acid? So class, let's look at the word saponifiable. Saponifiable class is actually a combination of two terms. So we have saponify then able. When we say saponifiable lipids, ito yung mga lipids that we are able to saponify. And for the word saponify, we will go back to the organic chemistry reaction of saponification. We will go back to the reaction known as saponification. So class, when we say saponification, it is a reaction in which when a carboxylic acid, RCOOH, or fatty acid na rin, okay, when a carboxylic acid is combined together with a base such as sodium hydroxide, actually, hindi lang carboxylic acids ang expected na mag-yield ng positive result sa saponification. Okay? Isama na rin natin dito yung mga ester. RC, double bond OOR. Ester. Now you may think, bakit pati ester? Okay? So ester guys, it is also expected for esters na mag-yield ng parehong result sa mga carboxylic acids. Bakit? Di ba kung babalikan natin ang organic chemistry, kapag sinabi mong ester, ito ay combination ng carboxylic acid at alcohol. Tama ba guys? Combination siya ng carboxylic acid at alcohol. So, tingnan natin. Carboxylic acid is fatty acid, while yung alcohol naman is this glycerol. Kapag yung lipid mo is nagpo-possess ng fatty acid at the same time meron din siyang glycerol, then pagka pinagsama natin si fatty acid and glycerol, carboxylic acid plus alcohol, then we will yield esters. Okay? So class, let's go back. Okay? So again, saponification reaction happens or occurs when a carboxylic acid or ester is combined with a base, such as sodium hydroxide. We will yield this compound as well as HOH. So HOH, it simply means water, H2O. Okay, so ginawa lang natin siyang HOH para mas makita natin or mas maintindihan natin yung formation ng water doon sa reaction. Okay, but if you prefer, you can also write it or express it as H2O. At ang tawag naman natin, class, dito sa compound na to would be soap. So ito, class, yung ibig sabihin ng saponification reaction. So ang reason pala kung bakit ang mga fatty acid containing lipids ay tinawag na saponifiable is since meron silang carboxylic acid or meron silang fatty acid, pwede silang mag-undergo ng saponification. Unlike yung mga lipids na walang fatty acid, tinawag silang non-saponifiable kasi yun nga, since wala silang fatty acid, hindi nila kayang mag-undergo or hindi sila mag-undergo ng saponification reaction. Okay? So ito, class, yung ating classification of lipids. So don't worry, class, kasi as we go along our discussion, okay, we will discuss further these examples of lipids one by one. Next naman, class, would be the uses of lipids in general. Napakaraming possible uses ng mga lipids, class. And these uses are very significant in the field of pharmacy as well as medicine. First, lipids are considered as a source of energy. So, class, nabanggit natin sa ating previous discussion on carbohydrates that lipids are considered as the secondary source. Okay, it means secondary. It is the secondary source of energy. Okay. Lipids are considered as the secondary source of energy in the form of glycogens. Okay, glycogens. So, di ba, class, yung katawan natin, somehow, continuously nagpo-produce yan ng glucose. Eh what if, nagpo-produce yung body natin ng glucose or galing din sa kinain natin, pwede rin. Or all in all, okay, paano kung nag-accumulate tayo ng glucose yet hindi naman kailangan ng katawan natin ng massive energy? So, anong gagawin doon sa mga extra? So, ang mangyayari doon sa mga extra carbohydrates or glucose na hindi naman gaano kailangan is they will be converted into glycogens. Then, they will now be stored in the liver. Okay, tapos, if ever mangailangan ng katawan ng backup na carbohydrates, then doon sila i-convert ulit. Si glycogens is i-convert ulit into glucose tapos saka ito magagamit. But class, take note na itong mga glycogens, itong mga lipids natin na naka-store sa liver, okay? Gagamitin lang sila, take note, okay? They shall only be used kapag si patient is sobrang bagsak na or halos pawala na yung supply niya ng carbohydrates. Again, class, this will only occur if the patient already has very low supply of carbohydrates. Kasi nga guys, di ba, ang primary source of energy natin is carbohydrates talaga. So kumbaga, sinalipids, ito ay backup lamang or parang reserve lang siya. Pagkaubos na yung carbs ni patient, saka nagagamitin si glycogen, saka nagagamitin si lipids. Okay? Next would be cooking. Okay, third would be cosmetics. So again, ginagamit ang lipids para sa manufacturing or formulation ng iba't ibang types ng dosage form or preparations. So this would include ointments and creams. So ginagamit ang mga lipids as stiffening agent. Stiffening agent means these are agents that increase the viscosity of a preparation, which is very important, especially if yung preparation mo is semi-solid. Next would be lotions and lip balms. And then volatile oils, class. When we say volatile oils, ito ay mga oils na volatile. Ito ay mga oils na nag-evaporate. At isa sa mga primary characteristics ng isang volatile oil is that they possess a pleasant odor. Kasabay ng pag-volatilize nila at pag-evaporate, okay, they contain, hindi they produce, not produce. Kasi sila itself may odor na. So, they contain na lang. They contain pleasant odors or mabangong amoy. At yung mabangong amoy or yung pleasant odors na present sa mga volatile oils, ang pinaka-reason nun is a certain type of lipid compounds. Okay, na malalaman natin as we go along our discussion. Nevertheless, kung bakit mabango ang mga volatile oils, it is due to a certain type of lipid compounds at yung pleasant odor na pinoposes ng mga volatile oils, yun yung nagsisilbing basis for their use as perfumes or pabango. Perfumery. Okay, so for perfumery, okay, volatile oils. Next, another would be functional. So example of functional uses is that lipids serve as precursor for the biosynthesis of what we call eicosanoids. So class, eicosanoids, this is one of the examples of what we call otacoids. So what are otacoids? This will be discussed in detail on your pharmacology class. Nevertheless, for now, when we say otacoids, okay, medyo iba siya sa mga typical na substances or chemicals na sinisynthesize ng body natin. Kasi class, yung karamihan or iba sa mga substances or chemicals na sinisynthesize ng body natin, ang effect niya sa buong katawan. Or kung hindi man sa buong katawan, maraming parts ng body. Okay? Itong mga otacoids, tulad ng eicosanoids, they are somewhat different. Kasi pag sinabing otacoids, guys, these are chemicals or substances na nagtitake effect lamang doon mismo kung saan sila synthesize. In pharmacology, they are termed as local mediators. They take effect only within the site or within the part in which they are synthesized. Or kung hindi man doon sa mismong pinanggalingan nila, yung vicinity, yung mga malapit na parts ng body. Okay? Yun yung mga tinatawag nating otacoids. Chemicals or substances that take effect only on the site where they are produced or at nearby areas or nearby parts. Okay? So example natin ng otacoids is BESH. Mnemonics for examples of otacoids would be BESH. So we have bradykinin, eicosanoids, serotonin, and histamine. So class, there are two primary examples of eicosanoids. Okay, so first we have the prostaglandins. And next we have the leukotrienes. So we have two primary examples or two primary types of eicosanoids. We have prostaglandins and leukotrienes. So class, prostaglandins, if we will discuss pharmacology, napakaraming possible uses ng prostaglandins. But out of all of that uses or indications, the most notable would be prostaglandins are mostly or mainly responsible for inflammation. Sa pamamaga. Prostaglandins are mainly responsible for pain associated with inflammation. At ito yung basis sa usage or mechanism of action ng mga NSAIDs or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Well, leukotrienes naman class, it is mainly responsible for inflammation within the lungs that can aggravate or pwedeng magpalala ng asthma. Okay? Leukotrienes may cause or it may aggravate, pwedeng magpalala ng asthma attack. So dito papasok yung mga drugs such as Xilioton. Okay, yung mga yan. Okay, so we are now done with eicosanoids. Next, the pharmaceutic. Okay? So, class, when we say pharmaceutic, ito yung formulation ng mga dosage form and preparations. For example, plant oils, they are utilized as solvent for intramuscular injections. Plant oils, they serve as solvent for intramuscular injections. So if we will go back to our pharmacognosy, meron tayong 4 na plant oils that are usually utilized as solvent for IM injections. So mnemonics natin here would be na Cocopese. Cocopese. So Cocopese class stands for corn oil. Corn oil. Then cottonseed oil. Corn oil, cottonseed oil. Then peanut oil. Peanut oil. Then sesame oil. Sesame oil. Okay, so we talk class examples of plant oils that can be used as solvent for intramuscular injections. Next will be regulatory. So class, when we say regulatory, okay, isa itong substance or compound. This is a certain type of molecule na inaapektuhan yung bilis at lakas ng isang biological reaction. Regulatory compounds mean these are compound substances or molecules that may affect the rate and intensity of a biological reaction. And one of the best examples of regulatory compounds would be what we call the hormones. Hormones. Okay? So class, alam nyo ba na ang mga lipids, they also serve as precursor for the biosynthesis of hormones, especially the steroid hormones. So examples of steroid hormones would include sina mineralocorticoid such as aldosterone, glucocorticoid such as cortisol, then sex hormones. For female, estrogen and progesterone, while for male, testosterone. Okay, so that will be discussed. So babalikan natin yung mga steroid hormones as we go along our discussion. So hindi na muna natin sila isulat dito. And lastly, class, for the uses of lipids would be also for structural. Okay, so class, if we were to utilize lipids for structural purposes, isa sa mga most notable functions ng lipids is that nagsisilbi silang precursor para sa synthesis ng cell membrane and also para ma-maintain yung function, integrity, at fluidity ng cell membrane. Okay? So class, diba, if we will go back to our previous biology classes, we will be aware or we are already aware that cell membranes are primarily comprised of what we call phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid bilayer. Okay? So class, when we say phospholipid, it is a combination of lipid together with a phosphate group, phospho. And when we say bilayer naman, bi means 2. So from the name itself, phospholipid bilayer, we have 2 layers each comprising of phospholipids. So we will also discuss this somehow in detail, pero at least ngayon, magkaroon tayo ng idea. So the structure of a phospholipid of an individual phospholipid would be like this. Like that. Pansin nyo, no, meron siyang head and meron siyang mga tail. So itong head na to, okay, this is the polar phosphate head or the polar phosphate group. Well, itong dalawang buntot na to, guys, okay, both of them, okay, ito naman yung mga non-polar fatty acid group. Non-polar fatty acid group. Okay, so ito class yung phospholipids. So ngayon, ano ang itsura ng phospholipid bilayer sa ating cell membrane? So this will be its appearance or orientation. This will be like this. Okay, so this will be like that. Okay. So pansin nyo, no, we have two layers, both comprising of phospholipids. And take note, class, take note that this phospholipid bilayer or these two layers of phospholipids, they face opposite to one another. Okay, take note, they face opposite to one another. Okay, they are opposite to one another. Okay. So class, add na rin natin, no? Predominant lipids in the cell membrane would include phospholipids, also glycolipids, glycolipids, and then cholesterol. So these three are the predominant lipids that are present in the cell membrane. And lastly would be CNS. Lipids are particularly helpful, especially in the biosynthesis of what we call myelin sheaths. Myelin sheaths. So when we say myelin sheaths, class, ito yung bumabalot or ito yung nagsusurround sa mga neurons or nerve cells in order to hasten the transmission of signals or action potentials. Nakabalot sila sa mga nerve cells or neurons nang sa ganun, bumilis yung pagdaan ng mga signals or action potentials. So we are now done with the definition, general characteristics and descriptions, classification, and uses of lipids. So on our next discussion, we will talk about the different types of fatty acids, because it is very important that we have a good grasp of understanding about fatty acids before we proceed with the different types of lipids.